This video about the Instagram algorithm, the only video that you need to watch pretty much. It's going to be really raw and really intense. That's what you said. Sorry. Welcome back, my friends. My name is Dominic. Today we talk about the Instagram algorithm, and you know what that means. We're gonna hop into my computer and I'm gonna try to make everything clear to you, as clear as possible. I'm gonna tell you exactly what the algorithm does right now in 2020, how it works, how it performs, what you can do, and how you can use the algorithm to your advantage. For all of you who don't know, yes, of course, Instagram has an algorithm. Yes, of course, I personally believe it's a little bit too much on the controlling side, if you will. The only way to grow really is to become friends with the algorithm. That's why you should actually watch this video. That's why you should, by the way, that's why you should subscribe to my videos. Because we talk about social media marketing, we talk about Instagram marketing, we talk about building a personal brand, and we talk obviously about algorithms and how to use them to your advantage. So let me just write that down in case. Instagram algorithm. If you're not familiar with the way that I handle things here with this whiteboard, yeah, it's gonna be really intense, but I already said that. Anyway, so the Instagram algorithm basically consists of multiple algorithms. You know, there's a few different ones playing together, and obviously we can never know for sure how exactly it works. Probably they don't even know themselves. I always say that. I'm pretty sure there's been some malicious code or some bad code written in it, and people just don't know why certain things behave like they do. I really mean that. But based on a lot of trial and error on my site, with hundreds of accounts, probably even thousands of accounts, constant testing and constant split testing, whatever, I managed to kind of know what's going on right now. This is what I'm going to give you right here. And basically what it does, and we kind of tackled it in last week's video, or a couple of days ago probably, the algorithm has kind of different data points that you kind of want to maximize upon. And basically they have three, we're just focusing on three right now. I'm sure there's more, but mainly what I figured out, there's three main under algorithms, if you will. First of all, they have and this has become stronger than ever, a content, yeah, beautiful. They have a content-driven algorithm that basically tracks your content. For example, the image recognition that we always talk about, the content itself, and how it behaves. The quality of your content, I believe, plays a part as well, even though not so much. The other thing that they have is a social signals-based algorithm, and that's what usually people refer to as the algorithm. It's about social, I'm not gonna write SS, social signals, SOS, that's probably more more fitting here. So basically things like likes, saves, DMs, likes, saves, DMs, and stuff like that. You know, basically stuff, skies in the diamond. But also how, if people come to your profile, how they behave on that, and plus how valuable you are to the platform. We're gonna get into all these things in a minute. And the other thing, the third thing that's happening right now is the penalty system. Yeah, I'm just gonna draw this, this thing right here because that's how it feels. Look at this. I could be, you know, I'm gonna have a art exhibition somewhere, digital art. Probably gonna bring out a course too, digital art, how to draw amazingly, so people know exactly what's up. Anyway, penalty algorithm, basically they track first and foremost, and this is a huge part. Are you a spammer? What are you doing? Do you have some flags? We call them flags. What is your trust score? Basically. They track all of these together. I actually believe all of the three, everything together kind of consists of your trust score. And basically the higher your trust score is, the bigger your reach. And basically you're gonna become friends with the algorithm. That's what I always call it. Now let's talk about the content-driven algorithm, seeing as right now I believe it's the strongest piece of the cake. It used to just be this SOS LSD algorithm, but right now it's the content-driven algorithm. But right now I believe the focus is a little bit more on the content-driven algorithm. Basically, one thing I forgot in the content-driven algorithm that you never know where exactly it is, but its big part is your audience and obviously your niche. So let me tell you how the content algorithm works. First of all, you post on Instagram, and then the image recognition takes its toll. The image recognition tracks your stuff all over across town. And basically they categorize you into different categories, meaning, look at this, meaning your niche. Now, not only the image recognition determines your niche, but also your audience, right? Because they track similar profiles. They track what's going on. They track, okay, profile number A is interested in cars. Profile number B is interested also in cars. The image recognition algorithm says, okay, this is about cars, so probably we're gonna show this profile to more people who are interested in cars. And this is why it's so important, especially when you start out, to narrow down on one specific thing. Because let me just, oh, look at this. Let me just try to make this a little bit more clear. Let's say you have your profile here, you're into cars. Just by looking at this right now, there's people. These are all people, beautiful people. Look at those people. Instagram knows for 100% they like cars. Whenever you post, everything plays together. It'll be shown to them in the explore page and the hashtag pages, because it's all individual, by the way, if you didn't know that. The hashtag pages, the explore pages, they're all individual for each and everybody. You probably have noticed that if you like some car pictures, you're gonna have a lot of cars in your explore page. Anyway, if you have car pictures, the algorithm is gonna be like, okay, this is 100% about cars. So, you know, it's a 100% chance of showing your content actually to a like-minded audience. Now, if you have cars plus spaghettis and noodle dishes or food, you know, it's gonna determine, okay, this is probably 30% cars and 70% noodle dishes. And now what? They know, okay, for sure this audience is interested in cars, so they're gonna show you this. But then they know, okay, maybe just 2% of those people are gonna be interested in that. And also the algorithm gets confused with all these data points. They're like, okay, what should I do? I have issues finding and matching your content to the right audience. This is why, especially in the beginning, go as deep as possible. Cars is not a niche, by the way. You know, this is just an example right now. But for example, and this is an example that I'm thinking about right now. If you think about cars, it's way too broad of a niche. For example, a niche would be Tesla cars. You know, seeing as right now, you know, I have a Tesla, and I get recommended, especially only Teslas right now in my explore page. So try to go deep. Another thing would be fitness. Fitness is not a niche. You could be, you know, weight-based fitness, home-based fitness and stuff like that. Just try to go as niche as possible, because think about that. It's gonna be easier for the algorithm to actually find the matching audience to you. Let's say what happens actually when you post. We'll go over to the second part of the algorithm, which is the social signals. Social signals. Look at this beautiful thing here. Basically what happens, and this is, if you understand this, you're gonna crush the algorithm. If you do this, you're gonna become friends with the algorithm, because it's basically a simple recommendation system. So, you know, saying you have your niche down, you have the content part down. Obviously, it's not super simple to actually figure that out, and this should be a huge part of your journey, actually figuring that out, toning down the content so you know, okay, the algorithm has no problems finding a audience for me. If you have that, you're gonna go ahead to more posting, and then you post. What happens? Let's say you post your picture. You know, post your picture. This is a beautiful Mount Fuji, Japan. This is the lake in front of it. I don't even know if there's a lake in front of it, but let's just say, and this is a temple. Okay, So let's say you have a travel, Japan. I have problems saying the word Japan for some reason. You post this picture and you have your audience. And basically there's different layers of your audience. There's your core audience, your super fans. Let me just, super fans, San Francisco, no, super fans. There's your normal fans, and there's the broad variety, and then there's the ghosts. We're gonna get into that in a second. But basically, you post your picture, and in the first, let's say 10 to 15 minutes, they're gonna show this to part of your super fans. And depending on how they behave, depending on the social signals they give you, they're gonna determine, okay, does this post perform well? Should we give this post more chance or not? Why they're gonna do this? Obviously, they wanna maximize time spent on their platform because they wanna make some advertising revenue. Now, here's why this whole thing is really important. And here's why you have to have your content really focused, really toned down, optimized for audience retention. And this is a thing that nobody talks about in terms of Instagram. We see people talk about audience retention about YouTube all the time, in terms of YouTube all the time, but never in terms of Instagram. But it's just a logical conclusion here, because let's say, what do they do in the first, how many percent, let's just say out of those 10, first of all, they're gonna show it to 10%. Out of those 10%, how many of those 10% are gonna like, comment, share, DM? And obviously these have different values, but let's just say how do those people behave and how long do those people stay? And this is really integral. How long do those people stay? Obviously, if you have a video, it's a lot better. This is why, because people are gonna stay longer because they watch the video. And this is why videos usually tend to perform better in terms of the Instagram algorithm. Not always though, but I've done a lot of testing and figured out on average video content performs a lot better. And then they determine, and then what they do, and this is another really interesting thing, is you have your amazing picture of Mount Fuji. And then obviously there's a million other people having probably the exact same picture. How do they know that? First of all, hashtags, but mostly through the image recognition algorithm. Let's just say there's 3 posts that were posted Mount Fuji, of 3 profiles even that are kind of in your similar range. And you're gonna track, okay, first 10 minutes, you had 5 likes, 0 comments, 7 shares. Second picture had 17 likes, 5 comments, 5 shares. Third picture has 1,330 likes, 1 comment, 7,775 shares. So what's the algorithm gonna do? It's gonna split test these values against each other, and basically you have to know they have this, they just have they have huge data already. They have the data of the past decade probably, and they're gonna see, okay, how do they perform to each other? What can we say? How does the audience like this as opposed to that? Where do people really react well to which picture? And you're gonna look at this, you're gonna say, okay, probably picture number 2 performs better. Picture number 3 performs way better, but there's some red flags, and we're gonna get into that in the third part, which is the penalty algorithm. But just to quickly tell you what's going on, they're gonna recognize there's some spammy activity, so we're gonna cut this out. A shadow ban, no hashtags anymore for a couple of weeks, whatever, maybe forever. So it's just about them. And then you're gonna track, okay, how did they behave? Where do people stay longer? Which people do have a bigger bond to this profile? Because ultimately, if your audience has a stronger bond towards your profile, your trust score is going to go up. The algorithm's going to favor you, because findings have shown that if after people watched a profile or interacted with a profile that they're really related to, that are fans of, they're more likely to check out or see the ad and click the ad that's coming later. And this is the reason why. And then basically you're gonna get split tested against each other. And in this case, well, this has done a lot better. Your post not so well. And depending on what comes here, it's gonna determine what comes later. And basically they do that all along until your super fans, usually it happens like this. It shows your profile to your super fans in the first 20, 30 minutes to 1 hour. And usually if you have some super fans, it's gonna look like something like this. And as soon as this kind of stops, as they know, okay, these are the super fans, now we kind of have to expand the reach and let our algorithms determine which people, first of all, of your own followers are gonna like this picture or this post, and then we're gonna try to see, we expand this whole thing to our whole platform in the explore page in the hashtag section. Then it's gonna try to find what's going on, okay? And this is the integral part here. They try to find your audience. If for some reason it doesn't do well with with parts of your audience or with another audience in the explore page, they split test a lot in the explore sections and the hashtag sections, and it does perform kind of bad, you're gonna see it staling out, and then you end up with just a few hundred likes, for example, as opposed to usually 3,000 likes. And the post is gonna die down, and basically that's what people say. Okay, my reach is down, my reach is down. It's basically just people miss the beat, you know, of not having shareable content, of not fulfilling all these markers right here. So what can you do to actually counter this whole thing from happening? What can you actually do so things start like this? You know, usually it goes in waves, and at some point it's dead. There's a few things that you can do, but first of all, just think about or focus on, you know, after the content, the social signals that you get from your audience. And this is, again, why it's so important to niche down, to have 100% focused niche, because it's a lot easier. And, you know, just percentage matters in this case, you know, whether you have 50% or 70% or 90% reacting to your post as, you know, the way that you want it. It makes a huge difference, especially because there's so many people on the platform right now. So you want to, you know, be ahead of all those other people. And nobody does that, believe me. Almost nobody does that. Really think about it. Every time you post content, think about the quality, and what is quality in this case. How, the main thing is, think about how long are they staying on my profile, how long are they staying on Instagram in general. So for example, what could be social signals? Obviously engagement, like likes, we said that, shares, also the velocity of people, like we said, you know, the more people are in this first tier, the better, obviously. Saves and DMs and all these shareable things are a huge thing recently, so try to maximize that. Try to create shareable content. I've had a client, and he made, like, whenever he posted, he did something like share my post in your stories, and I will check you out, or I will share you, or I will give you a free consultation, or I do something. I give you value back if you share my things. Boom, that's basically all that he needed to keep this graph going. And he blew up, having, like, I don't know, 15,000 followers per month or something like that. Plus the content itself, because this also ties into the penalty algorithm. And here's the thing. The content algorithm, the image recognition algorithm really sees what's in there. You probably heard me say about that. If you have some weird thing in the background, it could happen that the Instagram algorithm determines, okay, this is not exactly what we're looking for. This may be even some bad things, some bad content things, something like bad content for advertisers. So your reach is gonna get compromised. Obviously, they're never gonna say that this is a thing, but this is definitely a thing. Talking to so many other creators, we've all come to the same conclusion. Now, here's the thing: the image recognition algorithm, of course, it's not perfect. These things are never perfect, and they're faulty. So you want to kind of ease this thing out, ease their faults away, and this is why you want to always put the so-called alt text in there. If you don't know what that is, whenever you post something on Instagram, there's a special section saying alt text, where you basically, they say it's for the visually impaired, so that they can actually see or hear what's going on in this picture. But actually what you're doing is you're training the algorithm, you're telling it what's exactly in there. And what you want to do with this alt text, you want to be as specific as possible, because the more data you feed it, and this ties back into this whole thing about the Instagram, give them as much data as possible. The more data you feed it, the less are the chances of the algorithm actually kind of messing up. And then the last thing that you want to do with your content, if you really want to be on the safe side, if you really want to do it professionally, is take all of your posts and pull them through an image recognition algorithm yourself. For example, the Google Vision Cloud API is a good bet. It's not the same thing, obviously, but it's pretty similar. So pull your content through that and kind of see, is it some not safe for work content or something like this? What does the algorithm recognize? This brings me to the last part of the algorithm right here, which is the penalty algorithm. And basically a huge, let me just draw this right here again so you know what's really up. There you go. And basically to check whether you are a spammer or not. And this is a huge thing. There's constant loops going on in the background testing, okay? What did this person do to spam? What did they not do? Obviously, how old your account is matters a lot. So if you have a younger account, you don't have as much room as, for example, an older account that's kind of established already, where they know, okay, for the past 5 years, they have not done any spamming at all, or just a little spamming. Now, there's some things, for example, using some bad proxies, if you know what that is. There's huge problems with bad proxies. Mobile proxies are the best bet for you right now, in my opinion. If you need mobile proxies, we rent them out, by the way. You know, just a shameless plug right here. State-of-the-art mobile proxies from Austria, actually. Go down to the link in my description. There's a free trial, I guess. Anyway, and now take a seat, my friends, because here is the drop that I'm gonna give you right now. Something that I've heard nobody say, and something that has huge impact on whether your account's gonna perform well or not. It's the following. Like I said earlier, they check for session times. Session times. Basically, okay, a user comes in because they kind of know, okay, usually people are on Instagram and they kind of try to just beat the time. But if you can kind of convert them to stay longer on the platform, the better. So you want to maximize the session time of each user that comes to your profile. And basically you want to minimize the chances that somebody exits out at the Instagram app itself after visiting your profile. And this is a huge thing. I've never heard anybody speak about that. And naturally, and this ties back to your whole spamming thing, and especially if you have a newer account, is you don't want to have a link in your bio. Stop that. Don't even try to do anything salesy or anything in that sort in the first, I'd say, 5,000 followers. Really just focus on the first part. Just focus on the content algorithm, on the social signals algorithm. Just focus on the user experience of the people on the app. If you really maximize these things without setting any flags for spamming, which linking, especially if you have a new account, is a huge factor, you're going to maximize your chances of blowing up, of ranking in the Explore page and all these things by so much. Believe me that. Really believe me that. Don't try to be salesy. It even goes as far as to not even put the word free or check out or anything salesy in your captions or in your bio. You know, try to really optimize for people staying on your profile, people getting some value out of your profile and staying there. Anyway, if you take all of these things into consideration, if you really optimize that, if you really focus on your content and all of that without trying to spam anything, you're gonna see, okay, Explore page views are going to go up by a lot. Explore page are going to get up by a lot. Plus the hashtag views. A lot of people ask me, how do I find the best performing hashtags? The easiest would be just to go through to the hashtag pages, going from there, checking it out. Another thing would be Hacktastic, for example. It's an amazing app, and I'm not just saying that. I really use that myself. I can really vouch for that. I can really recommend that to everybody out there to use Hacktastic. Yeah, help me actually figure out some highly performing hashtags pretty easily that perform really well. Anyway, the other thing to actually maximize your chances of getting people, because another thing is you need to have, if you have this down there, you need to have traffic so you can optimize, again, the 90-day challenge. If you don't know what that is, it's a video of mine that's somewhere linked in this video. Go through the challenge. You're gonna see a lot of people coming through your profile. Algorithm if you optimize it like we said right now, is gonna thank you for that. And there's actually another hack that you can use for people that check out your profile. But this is enough for this video. I guess we're gonna spare this one for another video. Let me know in the comments if you want to know the special hack, this very secret hack that involves some very cheap paid ads actually. Anyway, this is basically the explanation of how the algorithm works right now. The most important parts, use that to your advantage. I've seen nobody talk about that to that extent. If you have questions, of course, just let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, let me know if you want to have this video about this special hack that I figured out to catch those people that just check out your profile coming from the 90 days challenge. My name is Dominic. That was a long one. My voice is cracking out. I'll see you later, my friends. Bye bye. Thanks for watching.